Hey everybody, welcome to South Olympic Ranch episode number 51. Thanks for joining me. I was thinking about what to do with this and I decided to cap it. And so I cut a piece, I measured this, it's 28 millimeters, this is about 24. And then I cut a piece out, then I took it and I brought it over here and I kind of figured out where to square off the opening for the post. After marking the side parts here with a pencil, I then came back with this micro mark thin beam square and figured out where the square should be, and I should be able to take a punch and put a hole in that to make the opening, or I'll use a drill. Time for a little test. Man, I hate to pull these long wires out of this thing, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's see, so that should be, we should be able to do this and stick that back down through the hole. Let's see, how are we lining up? Well, not as well as I would have hoped, I think. Well, maybe. Yeah, it's gonna be, all right, let's see what happens when I reach under here and pull this through. All right, so yes, that will work. Barely, it's gonna be tight. I could drill that hole a little bit bigger and give myself some leeway. I think I might just do that. Pull that back out. Okay, got some medium CA, and we'll put a cap on this thing. And let's see, I could use the Plastrac plastic weld, which I often like to use in situations like this, but I think that I want a little more working time, as it were. And Plastrac doesn't. This stuff is like it's got a kicker built into it or something. I think that looks pretty good, and I'd be tempted to run right over there and install it on the layout, but my experience tells me that I should wait and let that glue set up a little longer. Okay, let's try this. Slide it over that, and that fits pretty good. Throw the piece of foam to fill in behind it. Yeah, okay, now let's grab the signal one more time. Carefully holding the wires, of course, because you got to start with that. Just put those down in the hole. Come on. Get in there. You see, oh, I see that. The sleeve that came off the signal is down in there. Of course it is. Let's see what this looks like when it's in the hole. All right. Cool. Now it just needs to be cement colored. So when I do paint this, I've decided that I'm just going to hold it in my hand, but that'll be a little bit difficult to do. I'm gloved. I'm going to get some paint where I don't want it on myself. So I'm going to use the blue tape here to give myself a little bit more length to hold on to. And that should be stiff enough to do what I need. Sometimes you're going to spend more time preparing to paint than actually painting. Okay, now I've got to wait for them to dry, and sometimes your old clothespins can be a really good way of just hanging something up that you don't really want it to, where you don't really want it to touch anything. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. Peel the painter's tape off this thing and reveal the tan line. Wait. Okay. I like that a lot. I think that looks really good. Let's install the other side. Or maybe I should just say put it in place. I got crappy lighting here. Oh, you know what I did? I turned one of my, I was doing another video the other day. I turned one of my track lights a different direction. So we're not as well lit here as we were. Let me fix that real quick. All right. All right, so let's see. Stuff that down in there. And let's see where we are. I know you guys can't see that. That looks pretty good. Still got to get rid of that pink. That will happen when I install, or when I put in some sculpt mold to kind of fill in the gaps. But I really like that. That needs to be tilted a little bit more this way. Yeah, there we go. Sculpt mold in here that's tinted with burnt umber. And that'll just fill in the blanks here, so to speak. That's the idea anyway. Making this product look like it's actually seated in the earth in here. Yeah. Then a little more in here. And hopefully, when I take this piece of foam and seat it in here, I can work it down so that it squishes it right out over the top, which is kind of what's happening. What do you know about that? Kinda. Let's put that there. Let's rotate this back a little bit. And we'll put that there. Now there's actually nothing wrong with having a little dirt over the edge there. A little dirty right on the top after all. This is a road. It's not a local fine dining establishment. Figure out where I was putting that back there. Okay. I think it's gonna be right over here. Right about there. Okay. And I might have just made enough to actually make this work without having too much or making another batch, which is just like some kind of miracle. And crap, I just got some of it on the road. What the hell am I doing? Wash that off as soon as I can. It's always something. I should have known better than that. Should have known better. Sounds like a hit song, doesn't it? Okay, Siri, play Should Have Known Better by Richard Marx.
Here's Should Have Known Better by Richard Marx.
Okay. That's gonna be good, I think. All right, let's go in here and use a piece of Okay. Dang, there's a hole there I didn't see. No, it's still not bad. Just need to let it dry and come back and do some more filling in. I'd like to have that like that. Okay, I think that side looks good. And that side too. So I've got this piece of foam core that I sprayed with some fine texture, and I'm going to cut it down to about 19 inches. And I'm choosing 19 inches because at SASUP, I want to have a cold storage facility that is long enough to be able to park two 57-foot mechanical reefers. The MP car is not 57 foot, but the BNFE car is. And I wanted to have enough room for that, plus it would overlap the end of the cars by a little bit, so that structure would take up a little bit more background area. So I decided I'm going to try making it 19 inches long. We'll see how that works out. One of the things about using foam core like this is it'll be inexpensive if I mess up. We'll try that. And then after I cut it and I get the basic form of the building set up, I'll add the doors and I'll paint it probably a dark or maybe a lighter gray color, but something that represents like a tilt-up cement building. Okay, so I just changed the blade on this knife, so it's sharper than usual, and you just want to make sure you don't go all the way through the material, and then you just work your way in behind, I don't know if you can see that, in behind the one layer of paper there. And then I'm going to go back through, since I've now kind of got myself a guide point, I'm just going to go through and do that again like that, and work my way up, work it loose. Okay, let's see what we got. I should have it without, there we go. That looks pretty good, right? So then I've got my other piece, get it on there. Let me turn this around. And we get just a little bit of white, and it looks like the texture follows the corner. Using the car as the goalpost, I've put some marks on the material here and here, and there and there, so I know that's where I want the outside reaches of the door to be. A while back, I picked up some micro-engineering overhead freight doors, and I've been waiting to try those. Okay, so these doors look a little rough, as it were, but I know that I want them to fit right about there. And can you see that? Yeah. So I know that that's going to be there and there, but they're not going to be on the bottom, so I need to figure out how high I want them to be. And using my HO scale ruler, I determined by measuring one of the cars that I want the bottom of the door to be about 3.5 feet up from the bottom of the building. So I'm going to mark the building here on those areas there. I'm going to bring up a line, and I'm going to put this line here, and I'm going to have to like go across with my ruler once I figured out exactly where the cross points are. Because I'm going to be painting this building again, and because this doesn't show up all that well, I'm not going to worry about leaving these marks on the outside of the building because I'm going to paint over it. Okay, so here I'm laying out the lines so I can cut the openings for the overhead freight doors. See how it looks on the back side. Oh, well that's interesting how it's kind of nothing lined up. But that's because the blade tilted probably. And I'm just going to cut that because that's another piece that people shouldn't be looking at. Okay. Oops. All right, so take that. Should be able to take one of these doors and press fit it in there. And what do you know? Oops, looks pretty good. Excellente. I'm also working on a side door for the cold storage building. Okay. I'm liking that. I'm thinking that I need to build an overhang for that. That might be neat, huh? Last Tuesday, I got the opportunity to go up to Marysville and visit my friend Alex Brikoff and his wife Tina. Alex has a 1970s Milwaukee Road switching layout. Let's take a few minutes to take a look at that now. Alex wanted to make sure that he could access the wiring of his layout without getting underneath it. A friend helped him construct this cabinetry with flip-down doors. It's actually pretty cool. And then here's a bigger.
Oh yeah. Kind of watching two things here at once. One of my long-term goals is to switch from a cordless system to a wireless system.
Speakers that they put inside the sound system.
Yeah, there's a now I'm making a video. When I was over at Burr's switching his yard, he was like, "Man, Larry's quiet." I'm taking all my concentration just to switch interbay, man. He's got like 5 tracks there, or 6 tracks, plus the arrival departure.
Time sure does fly when you're chatting about trains with train friends. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed episode number 51. Until next time, be safe and have fun with your trains out there. Bye-bye now.